Hello everyone, back tuning into today's second video. Going to have a look at the weather for the next week to 10 days for today's second video, which is going to take us around the 30th of March, so we're getting towards the very end of the month now. With week to 10 day video updates. So high pressure going to be dominating weather in the next few days. Going to have lots of high pressure in control, and that's going to be bringing lots of dry and fine conditions. And we cover all about it in the 5-day forecast, of course. You can see 5-day forecast at Gazovic, so have a look about, see what's going on. Not a lot, it has to be said. But the next 5 days could be dominated by high pressure. We'll extend out beyond that with today's second video update. This will take us into the early part of April. So we're going to begin by having a look at central England temperature. This is where we're currently sitting at 7.5 degrees, just there, 2.2 degrees above average. That's provisional up to yesterday, up to the 19th of March. So exceptionally, well, very mild month. It's going to get milder as well, so it could well finish up an exceptionally mild March. This, we may finish up at 8 degrees, perhaps. That might be a little bit too much to get to. It will be interesting to see where we finish up, but it's certainly going to be way above average for March. Once again, following on from that exceptionally warm February, which was 3 degrees above average. Here's the GFS upper air temperature and precipitation ensembles. Looking at Birkenhead up in the Wirral today. So the red line here is the 30-year upper air temperature average for Birkenhead. Way above average at the moment. Going to be very mild through to the end of the week. Just go a little bit cooler over the weekend into the beginning of next week. And then temperatures tick up again. The early part of April is interesting. It's causing all sorts of questions and uncertainty at the moment. It looks as though temperatures through the first week of April will lower. How low they go remains to be seen. There are some GFS, excuse me, GFS ensemble members that are really quite cold. So we may get a cold snap in the early part of April, but I would say more likely just that we cool things down a bit. Really, there's no good agreement at the moment about it going particularly cold through the first week of April, but it's a possibility that we might do. Before then, though, temperatures looking generally quite mild, except for a cooler snap over the weekend into the beginning of next week. As far as precipitation is concerned, lots of dry weather. Remember, this is for Birkenhead, so it's one of the wetter places in the country near the Irish Sea. But despite that, lots of dry weather coming up really over the next, certainly through to the end of March anyway. Through the first week of April, it perhaps does go a little bit more unsettled. But again, we have got quite big question marks about this period for the early part of April. Temperature anomalies from the 20th to the 28th of March are generally coming out average to a little bit above average. Quite a mild week coming up, and very dry as well. We're back to dry conditions 20th to 28th of March. Substantially drier than average through most parts of the country, particularly for England and Wales. This is how the GFS operational run is looking today. This is starting on Saturday, so all covered by 5-day forecast, of course. Essentially over weekend, high pressure will be dominating, although temperatures will lower a little bit. Into next week, that high pressure builds back in and is sitting more or less over the top of the country through much of next week, dominated by high pressure, taking us up to day 10. With high pressure just going nowhere fast. It's sitting there across the country up to day 10, which is Saturday, the 30th of March, bringing lots of dry weather. And after a cool start to next week, I think temperatures will start to lift up and it begins to become quite a lot warmer once again. In the more extended range, we're going to keep high pressure influences going through to the beginning of April, but then low pressure coming in. Look at that big change by Wednesday, the 3rd of April. Big area of low pressure heading in from off the Atlantic, bringing quite a lot of cloud, and that will bring some heavy rain with it as well. And that low pressure is sitting over the top of the country as we end this GFS run on Friday the 5th of April. So there's an uncertainty about the beginning of April. It looks very straightforward up to the end of March. High pressure is in control of weather, but that first week of April is still causing some uncertainty and possibly is moving or edging slightly towards becoming unsettled, perhaps. This is the GFS parallel run. Let's see what that's showing for the beginning of April. So, again, we've got all of this high pressure dominating through the course of this week and into next week, really. Early next week, you do get a swipe of cold air just brushing against us from the north, but that's mainly going into Scandinavia and central parts of Europe. we keep this high pressure going up towards the second half of next week, taking us up towards day 10, which of course is going to be Saturday the 30th of March. Still a lot of high pressure influences, but by then the parallel GFS run wants to pull this high pressure back into the middle of the Atlantic and just begin to turn things slightly cooler from the north and from the west. And that takes into more extended range, where we do actually pull down quite a cold northerly wind with the parallel GFS run. And this high pressure eventually finishes up or ends up becoming quite a northern blocking type feature as we move through into the beginning of April. So again, there's an uncertainty for April. It's vastly different, this pattern, to what the operational GFS run is showing, but it is quite cold. The winds are in from the east there on Friday the 5th of April, and that is quite a cold easterly that's being drawn in as well. There's the upper air temperature showing cold air has invaded the country from the east. So two options on the table from the operational and parallel GFS runs. One is to turn it very unsettled with showers and longer spells of rain. The other one is to keep it fairly dry but a lot colder with winds turning into the east or the northeast. I think we really have to wait and see about this first week of April. It's causing all sorts of problems within the model output at the moment. This is the ECM, so again we've got high pressure influences dominating through the weekend into the start of next week. We do pull down some colder air from the north through the early part of next week, but most of that's passing just to our east. And then the high pressure builds back in through the middle and second half of next week, again bringing a lot of dry weather. By the very end of the ECM, it's just starting to turn a bit more unsettled. By day 10, Saturday 30th of March, just a few hints of low pressure coming back in from off the Atlantic. It's a long way out, but it's possible that this could be signalling the change for early April to something quite a lot more unsettled once again. These are the options that are on the table within the ECM ensembles today via the postage stamps at the Icelandic Met Office. So we've got 26 members of the ECM ensembles, 50%, that have high pressure up to the northeast at day 10 with low pressure out to the west. This includes the operational ECM run as well. So high pressure is trying to keep in control to the east, but low pressure is heading in from off the Atlantic, turning things more unsettled by day 10. Then there's 13 members of the ECM ensembles with high pressure sitting to our south. Low pressure is up to the north, and we're bringing in this westerly flow with these 13. So it will be mainly dry down in the south, but the north will be more unsettled. And then there's 12 that have high pressure out in the Atlantic and low pressure kind of like to our north and northeast up here. And this would turn the winds into a northwesterly to northerly. So they're more unsettled and they're quite cold as well by day 10. And then let's have a look at the options for 2 weeks away. So this is taking us to 360 hours out, the 4th of April. And looking a lot more unsettled then. We've got 24 members of the ECM ensembles with low pressure coming in from off the Atlantic, so they're bringing in westerlies, and they're unsettled with showers and longer spells of rain. Then there's another 15 that have a deep area of low pressure over to the north of the country. Again, they're unleashing the Atlantic, they're very unsettled for the start of April. And then there's 12 with low pressure to our north, but also to our east as well. High pressure is out in the Atlantic. The flow and the jet will be going something like that. So they're rather unsettled and quite cool as well as we get through to the beginning of April. The ECM ensembles are trending more unsettled for the start of April at the moment. Finally, just have a look at CFS-V2 for the next month. So these are 500 millimeter heights broken down into week periods. The first week's period will take us from the 20th to the 26th of March. The coming week has below average heights to the north, above average heights to our east and southeast. We're bringing in a westerly flow, so mainly dry, quite mild and settled conditions in the week ahead. Week 2 also dominated by high pressure, really this 27th of March to the 2nd of April. Low pressure in the Atlantic then, and high pressure is to our east across central parts of Europe. That's bringing up very mild or even quite warm southerly to southeast winds. Maybe going more unsettled later on though. Week 3, so the high pressure is edging away from us. It's still there to the east, but it's going more towards northeastern parts of Europe. So this looks like it's turning more unsettled from the 3rd to the 9th of April. Westerlies coming back in. So that looks like an unsettled start to April now with the CFS And then that takes us to week 4, 10th to the 16th of April, below average heights up to the northwest, or out to the northwest, above average heights up to the northeast, and we bring those westerlies through across the country like that. So a more unsettled start to April being indicated by the CFS at the moment, in line, I suppose, with what the extended range models are showing with the GFS and the ECMWF. Finally, just to say that if you're enjoying the videos at the moment, please consider becoming a patron for Gazzo. We've got 61 patrons so far, so if you would like to give an ongoing monthly donation to Gazzovids via Patreon and become a patron of Gazzovids, then please come to the Gazzovids Patreon page, sign up for a Patreon account, and you can pledge an ongoing monthly donation. It can be anything from $1 a month upwards to Gazzovids. Alternatively, you can give a one-off donation through PayPal. This is Gazzovids PayPal page. You just come here, sign into your PayPal account and give a one-off donation to Gazzovids. We're primarily ads funded, but we are reliant on other revenue streams, and this is helping us to pay for our website and pay for our content. So a big thank you to all of the patrons and all of the donors for Gazzovids for helping us to pay for the website and keep the content online. Right, rather short-term video today. I've got a busy day coming up, so I hope you found it interesting and informative. Don't forget to check out 5-day forecast if you would like to do that. I've got a more extended video for you at Gazzovids tomorrow. But that's all for now, and thanks for watching.